Yeah, I think living and working in rural New South Wales has been it's not only challenging but also very, very enjoyable, in as much as I felt that I've been able to balance having a very enjoyable and fulfilling life as a doctor with also having lifestyle things which have been very good for the kids. I mean, the children have been living in an environment which is safe. It's the sort of place where they can walk home from school, where there is a sense of community, where we're not just anonymous. Whereas back in the UK, I felt that everybody was on a sort of treadmill. Here, the pace of life, although busy, it's more relaxed, and probably more than I remember in my childhood in Britain in the 60s. And in many ways, that's something that I would like for my kids, and I think we've achieved it by being here. Alison Morrissey? Yes, certainly I'm finding here that I'm able to look after patients all the way through their illnesses because of the local hospital, but you do have backup from specialists. We're 110 kilometres from Dubbo. The facilities in Dubbo with specialists are good. You can contact them at any time and they're very, very supportive. And you're able to do more things to investigate people far better than I was able to in the UK, where you couldn't even get a CT organised. Here we've got CT facilities only 28 kilometres away. We get reports back that day because they're digitalised and sent to Sydney for reporting. So if somebody comes in with an event, be it a CVA or something like that, then you can get investigations done very, very quickly. So this sense of isolation is not in actual fact as bad as people think. There is that freedom. I think that our communities know how important keeping their doctors is, and they do their best to accommodate something that fits in with both professional and a home life. I have an associate here in town, and between us we cover the town, so there's cover 24 hours of every day, but we have time for our families, and I think that's very, very important. This is a very thriving community in Gulgong, and you'll find that in a lot of small towns that this sense of community does pervade through, and there's always time to sort of balance work, which is busy, with home. And I think we're fortunate to be able to do that. Yeah, I first came to Australia in 1985 when my London degree was registrable, but when we returned in 1997, by then the rules had changed in an effort to discourage doctors from overseas coming to Australia. And at that stage I passed my fellowship with the Royal Australian College of GPs, but I wasn't able to be registered on the basis of that, so we lobbied long and hard, and there's been changes from the New South Wales Medical Board and now at federal level in government, so that their doctors coming from overseas are registrable if they have an FRAC GP equivalent, and that has provoked an interest of mine in trying to change the big picture stuff, which is how I've got involved with the Rural Doctors Network and with the Dubbo Plains Division of General Practice. I'm chair of both organisations, and this is what I do for relaxation, because I think although I really enjoy the clinical day-to-day stuff, I also enjoy the big picture stuff. Australia is a country where you can do this. When I was trying to change things in 97 to 99, I got to meet the Deputy Prime Minister, I got to meet the Minister of Health federally and at state level. Access which you just can't get in the UK, and that's a real example of the openness of Australian society, where if you've got something you really want to change and you can make a good enough case, they're open that you can do it. And that's something that I've found in Australia and I've followed up with in other issues to do with rural health. If you want to make a big difference, and you've got a voice, you'll be listened to.
By that time it might link in with the GPED clinic if that gets up and running.
There are more and more doctors here who are more than happy to embrace new doctors coming in, and I think a lot of the traditional roles are changing. We're trying to bring in a system where people can come into towns and the infrastructure is in place and they can just come in and work as doctors. They don't have to worry too much about the business side. They can come and do what they're trained for, and that is very stimulating medicine, where you actually get to do what we're trained for, which is looking after sick people and getting them better. And that's the great allure for working in the country. You'll actually make a difference. The Rural Doctors Network, which is a workforce agency which is funded by government, is very proactive in helping in going through these processes of getting the visas, of getting registration, of getting the fellowship from the College of GPs. So the RDN can help a great deal with this, and this is there to help support people to come in and make it as painless a process as possible. The RDN will also help with finding communities which are looking for doctors, and I would recommend that would be the first port of call. I think a lot of UK graduates, if they were to come out to New South Wales, they would see that they'd be able to practice medicine in the way that they've probably been trained to do it, which is a very patient-centric approach. I feel I was back in the UK at Christmas visiting my family, and I was struck by the fact that this evolution, which started in 1990 when the health service reforms came in under Margaret Thatcher, has gone on further, and that the GPs are becoming more and more involved in a business of number crunching and pleasing, the spin doctors of government, and they're moving further and further away from actually delivering what patients need. I think here in New South Wales you can still do that. You can still practice medicine, and even with that, the rewards are great. The rewards are great professionally. They're very good in financial terms and in lifestyle terms, because there is freedom to do more of what you are interested in, and so you're not trying to be forced as a round peg into a square hole. If you have specific interests, you can develop them. And this is, I think, is very, very important, because in the end, doctors are fairly idiosyncratic. We are individualists, and I think that you're still able to be an individual here. And I think that that's one of the great reasons why I wanted to come, was that I could still practice medicine in the way that I felt was the way I wanted to.